by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
The government shutdown enters day 3. I'm Hanadoba with more on how Senate leaders plan to vote today to fund the government through February 8th.
Also ahead this morning, local reaction to Yellowstone National Park being open, but only in a limited way during this shutdown. Good morning, I'm Missy O'Malley. Our top story for you now. The government shutdown has officially expanded into the work week as lawmakers on Capitol Hill were unable to resolve their differences over the weekend. Now today at noon in Washington, Senate leaders plan to vote for a fund to fund the government through February 8th. There's just indication that it may be able to get those votes necessary to pass. CBS's Hanadoba explains.
Well, let's step back from the brink. Let's stop victimizing the American people and get back to work.
Though the weekend passed without a deal to end the government shutdown, there is cautious optimism on Capitol Hill that day 3 will be the turning point.
With my vote, there are obviously more votes needed, but if I had to guess, I do. I think that some of the Democrats who voted no will vote yes.
Republican Senator Jeff Flake was part of a 22-person bipartisan contingent Sunday, working behind the scenes on a deal. Later on the Senate floor, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell thanked the group and then offered a pledge to Democrats. Vote for a short-term funding bill that lasts until February 8th. If by then there's no solution on the main Democratic sticking point, immigrants brought here illegally as children, that concern will be brought to the forefront.
It would be my intention to proceed to legislation that would address DACA, border security, and related issues.
Democrats who were part of those backroom negotiations say while there's progress, they're not sure it's enough to secure the necessary votes.
I don't know that you're going to see the final deal, but you might see a comfort level that would enable us to move forward, so we'll see.
While the shutdown continues, essential government workers, including uniformed service members, will still report for duty, but their paychecks could be delayed. Hanadoba, CBS News.
Now, we should note the House has passed a procedural measure paving the way for it to vote very quickly on a measure passed by the Senate. So we'll keep you posted on that. And members of the military and their families are feeling a little uneasy right now because of the shutdown. MTN's Kaylee Collins spoke with 2 military spouses in Great Falls and shows us how they are reacting.
When they reopen the government, we will continue the discussions.
But those discussions are coming at the expense of local military members and their families. Brittany Vallejo, a Malmstrom Air Force Base military spouse and mother of 2, believes the military is forgotten about a lot, especially in situations like this.
We expect our military to always be the first ones to sacrifice their freedom, to sacrifice their civil rights in a lot of regards. Yet when it comes to paying them or having the well-being of their families at heart, I feel like that's kind of left off the table, and I really want them to see us and hear us.
Jennifer Bondarenko's husband works at the Montana Air National Guard. She says this shutdown isn't going to just affect her and those on base, but the entire community.
These people are, they spend a lot of money in this town, and with the government shutdown, people aren't making money and people aren't spending money, and it's making a big impact. It just goes right down the line to, grocery stores and gas stations and, and everything else.
She says the government needs to clean up their act.
People need to stop fighting with each other, and they need to stop acting like a bunch of 6-year-olds. People aren't getting paid.
And Vallejo agrees.
I don't feel that this is a Republican issue or a Democrat issue. I feel like this is a working together issue. In any other working job, when you're giving a 4-month extension to pass a budget, you're expected to have that figured out.
She wants the community to understand that her and her family are just like any other family.
We have bills to pay just like everyone else, and so understanding that we shouldn't be expected to go without pay just because my husband or my friends wear uniforms. I don't think that that's a fair expectation.
Bondarenko says it's all about the government picking the right battles.
When it comes to people not getting paid and people not being able to feed their families, you need to maybe back down and say, okay, let's get this taken care of, and then we'll, maybe fight this one later.
Vallejo took to Facebook in an open letter to congressional officials. She says the support of the community has been overwhelming.
I think it really speaks to our military community and those that support us, and I really hope that our congressional elected officials are taking note of that.
In Great Falls, Kaylee Collins, MTN News.
And Vallejo's Facebook post has been shared hundreds of times since it was posted on Saturday morning. Staying on topic, Montana U.S. Senator Steve Daines was one of many who spoke on the floor on Saturday. In a statement, Senator Daines said, quote, "I'm here to make one point crystal clear for those Montanans who are wondering what is going on with their government. The reason that the government has shut down is because a controversial illegal immigration policy was not included in a bill that funds the government." He continues, "If you don't know that, you've missed the facts. We should not hold the country hostage for a controversial immigration policy that impacts 0.00007% of Montanans." And Senator John Tester also spoke on the floor. His response to the failed government funding bill is, quote, "Congress has failed for 112 days. The budget ran out in September of last year. Since then, there has been no progress made. None. Instead, they've proposed 4 short-term crisis funding bills that fail Montanans, and I will not let Washington fail Montana anymore." With this weekend's federal government shutdown, the doors remained open at Yellowstone National Park. Sort of. Visitors could still ride snowmobiles and ski in to check out the geysers and buffalo herds. Cross-country skier Carol Weaver says the trails were open for her and her friends, but she's very unhappy with lawmakers in Washington. Weaver from Bozeman says that she's worried what would happen if the shutdown keeps going.
This is our public land and we should be able to use it anytime we want to. And unfortunately, Congress better get their act together. They've been irresponsible in so many ways this past year.
Now, visitor centers, public toilets, and other facilities run by the National Park Service were closed, but privately operated hotels, tour services, and gift shops remained open. Interesting stuff there,
Yep.
Matt. I know you were out in kind of big sky country, soaking up some of the goodness and sunshine this weekend.
Enjoying a little snow at times with the kids.
That's
and
good.
Maybe we'll get a little more snow into the region later today. So the morning temperature's chilly. You're going to have to scrape the windshield if you left your car outside, and it may kind of yell at you a little bit as you're starting it up. Our daytime highs likely to struggle a bit as we have another system heading our direction, likely to bring some light snow back to the region. Daytime highs today into the low 20s for most of the area. Scattered snow showers try to flow through here. I don't think it's a huge impact for us for our commute, but we do have more snow on the way. We're going to be outside on the Billion Auto Weather patio coming up in about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Now 6:37, and staying on some weather-related topics for you now. A snowmobiler is dead after being buried by an avalanche on Saturday near the Idaho-Montana state line. A 911 caller reported an avalanche around 2:45 on Saturday and said a snowmobiler had been buried. Search and rescue crews, along with sheriff deputies and a life flight, all responded to the area about 28 miles from West Yellowstone. A man's body was found about 40 minutes later by members of his group. He was pronounced dead at the scene by paramedics. No word yet on the victim's ID. And this is the second avalanche-related death in Fremont County within the last 2 weeks. The last one happened on January 11th. And a victim is recovering in the hospital after a stabbing on Friday in Bozeman. Just after 10:30 on Friday night, police responded to the 3300 block of Warbler Way of reports of a stabbing. When they arrived on the scene, officers discovered one victim suffering from life-threatening injuries. Officers have not yet located the suspect, who's described as an approximately 6-foot-tall male with a slim build. If you have any information, you're encouraged to contact Bozeman Police. And Sunday was the second day of the Women's March across the country. On Saturday in Bozeman, a rally had quite the turnout. The march was organized by Gallatin Park County, Big Sky Rising. Had about 1,400 people take the streets in Bozeman, making their voices heard. Organizers said that on the local level, the outpouring of support was symbolic of Bozeman as a community.
I think in Bozeman, we are leaning more progressive as we move on, and people just want to be involved in Bozeman, and we're a tight-knit community, and everyone comes out to events and they support each other, and that's what Bozeman's really all about.
To have that consistent activity that we know those women went back to their communities across Montana and have been working across this past year, throughout this past year, on the issues that are important to them in their communities, and then to launch their own marches in those communities is really powerful.
Now, the march, which began last year for Montana in Helena, took place in 9 different cities in Montana this year. They saw more than 10,000 people join in statewide. Now, the organizer, Betsy Schwartz, says it's empowering to see the Women's March, and with the message that it's spreading throughout the Treasure States. Some good stuff throughout the weekend, and a lot of fun pictures posted as well. Now, the marches in Montana were also held in Butte, Missoula, Helena, Kalispell, Billings, and Great Falls. Stay with us. It is a quick break. Up next, it's your Under the Big Sky preview. With this week, a look at one of the nation's most popular parenting magazine based out of Missoula. And the humble beginnings just ahead. But first, here's Gail King with a look at your Monday morning headlines right here at CBS at 7.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, we're on Capitol Hill with today's expected vote to end the government shutdown. We'll talk with White House Budget Director Mick Mulvaney. And we have the first network interview with Mike Pompeo since he became CIA director. He talks to Nora about North Korea, Russian interference in our election, and how he's changed the agency. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.